Dark Raiden is a secret fight in Mortal Kombat 1, which implies more than you might think, so we're gonna talk about it. But then on top of that, Quan Chi got a brand new attack along with other big changes worth discussing. All that and more discussed in today's video, because another day means more Mortal Kombat 1 news. I'm covering it all the time on this channel, so if you want to stay up to date, then make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss any future videos. And then after watching, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below. It helps the channel out a ton, and without any further ado, let's begin. Starting off with the Dark Raiden secret fight. The last time we saw this guy was in story mode, and surprisingly enough, it was the original Raiden from Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat X, MK9, you get the idea. It was that version, the OG Raiden, which was a cool surprise and also a great reference to the evil ending of Aftermath in Mortal Kombat 11. However, unfortunately, it looks like we're not going to get that exact version of Raiden. We're still getting the armor. It's the Dark Raiden skin, but it's going to be on the new timeline Raiden. So the young boy right here. Real quick, a fast shout out to Interloco for getting these screenshots early found in the data files. Right away, you can tell that the armor is a one-to-one recreation of the Mortal Kombat 11 skin, which I think is cool. Sometimes updates can be also okay here and there, but this one time I'm kind of glad it's the exact same costume, just with better textures. Now that being said, we still have no idea if he's going to use the red lightning like he did in story mode. I sure hope that's the case. It would be awesome, but as of right now, I'm just guessing and crossing my fingers. I'm hopeful. And also, at the same time, it would be really cool if for this one fight, it was the old Raiden and his voice too, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Fingers crossed, anything could happen, but it looks like it's going to be young Raiden. And I can read your minds right now, so I know the number one question you're asking. If we beat Raiden in this secret fight, do we get the armor? Do we get the Dark Raiden skin? And sadly, the answer is most likely no. There is still going to be a reward of some kind, but so far in every previous season of Invasion, winning the secret fight does not give you the character's skin or armor, which definitely is a bummer. It would be awesome to get this skin right away as soon as possible, but in saying that, there is some good news, especially if you're a more patient person, because since Raiden is the secret fight, that means he's most likely going to be the next season of Invasion. Season, yes, season, not season. Definitely did not mean to say season and messed up, but you get what I'm saying. Season 5 of Invasion is going to be all about Raiden, specifically Dark Raiden. Or in other words, once you finish Season 5 of Invasion, then you get the Dark Raiden skin completely for free. It's only gonna cost your time, which is money, I know, but like my point is, no real money spent. And then on top of that, every character is going to get a Raiden-themed color palette, right? Or a Dark Raiden-themed color palette. So that's also cool and something to look forward to, especially after this current Invasion, where NetherRealm definitely fumbled and gave us the entirely wrong skins, very likely on purpose, which is a shame. Some of the skins look fine, but for the most part, they're really ugly. I have a full video on it right here if you're interested. And keep in mind, that's Katana. Yes, this is Katana's skin in Season 4 of Invasion. At least Melina's costume looks really cool. The boss costume, right? The Dark Melina. I love this costume. It kind of gives me Star Wars vibes, and I can't exactly explain why, but this skin is what I'm fighting for in Invasions right now. But alright, time for topic number 2, Quan Chi's new attack. Yeah, for whatever reason, out of all the characters to get an update in the new patch, Quan Chi is the character that got a brand new move, which I just find super funny because he's one of the more recent characters. He arrived in like December, and already he's got a new move. Quan Chi can now summon a different portal that tracks the opponent's location and actively drains their meter. And on top of that, I think it also gives Quan Chi meter if he's nearby it or something crazy like that. So yeah, not only is Quan Chi the keep away god, most people agree he is the best zoner in the game, especially if that purple portal is out. But then on top of that, he can also drain your meter from full screen with a portal that tracks your location. That's pretty good. And before anybody calls this OP, just keep in mind many people consider Quan Chi to be low tier and possibly one of the worst characters in the game, so he did kind of need a little something something to make him a bit more viable. But next up, I have an interesting fun fact, and shout out to Shujinki Dink for discovering this, because it turns out that Omni-Man completely destroys this move simply by entering his Viltrumite stance. Check this out. Once again, this footage is from Shujinki Dink, and any time Omni-Man goes in his Viltrumite stance, it just cancels out the portal, and apparently if he's already in the Viltrumite stance, Quan Chi can't even summon that portal at all, which I just find super interesting because I've done some game programming in the past. And as a result, I kind of have an idea of what's happening here, and I find video game bugs to be super fun and interesting because I know how to code to an extent. So real quick, let me break down what I think is most likely happening here. In a video game, every single attack has a label or a tag that classifies it for the game itself to understand what the property of that move is. So for example, if you're playing Liu Kang and shoot a fireball, it's classified as a projectile. So if I'm playing Peacemaker and activate my force field, the game literally says destroy all projectile tagged items that come near Peacemaker, no damage. And it's actually the same case for Omni-Man. His Viltrumite stance by default will dodge any projectiles and a lot of other ranged attacks. So I'm wondering if for some reason this portal from Quan Chi is tagged as a projectile in the game code, and that's why when you activate the Viltrumite stance, it just cancels out the projectile for whatever reason. But no matter what the case may be, I don't think this is intentional. I do think it's a bug, and NetherRealm definitely does need to fix it, but in saying that, I'm glad it happened, because I love bugs, I find them fascinating. Not real bugs, those things are gross, but video game bugs and glitches I find super fascinating. Alright, as you all know, I love making these videos interactive, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. How do you feel about Dark Raiden being a secret fight? Are you excited for Season 5 of Invasions? And how do you feel about the Season 4 Invasion skins? Let me know that too. And then finally, how do you feel about Quan Chi's new attack? Does it make you more likely to play him? Does it make you dislike him more? And how do you feel about the glitch? Do you find it funny, or do you think it's actually intentional and I'm incorrect? Like I keep saying in all my videos, I truly do read each and every comment, so grab that keyboard and make your voices heard. Alright, finally let's talk about the patch notes. First up, we have crossplay. It's finally in Mortal Kombat 1. You can play against PC players, Xbox One Series X players, or PS5 players. Finally, crossplay is here. It should have been in there on day one. It's very likely the game was rushed, and that's why it's only available now, but hey, better late than never, I suppose. Alright, so next up, let's talk invasions, because a lot of changes were made to the invasion mode. I don't think it's going to make people love it all of a sudden, but any good change should be mentioned, I suppose. So first up, there's an in-game HUD indicator showing the invasion character level and element types for the player and their opponent. Big deal. Awesome change. Kind of self-explanatory, but now you know which character counters other characters, which is a big deal, because depending on which character you pick, the boss character is either taking more damage from you or taking less damage from you. I was fighting Reiko with Peacemaker and doing like no damage, but then I switched to Rain, whose element type countered him and killed him pretty quickly. Alright, next up, added in-game HUD indicators displaying modifiers active during a match. That's also a nice quality of life change, very self-explanatory, but this next change is a big deal to me personally. Significantly increased fighter and cameo mastery XP base rewards per encounter, which is no longer repeatable and are no longer subject to diminishing returns if the opponent is a lower level. Fantastic changes for the most part. I was playing Peacemaker in the first stage of Invasion, and before even completing that stage, my Peacemaker was already at like level 11, so I unlocked a lot of his stuff in just the first stage by playing the game. No grinding required. And I love that change, because now I'm incentivized to actually finish Invasion mode to level up, instead of just finding that one special spot to grind over and over again and level up my characters that way and get my coins that way. Next up, we have increased fighter and cameo mastery XP and item rewards from encounters in the Gateway Mesa. That's pretty cool, because originally the Gateway Mesa was not that big of a deal. I personally almost never went there, so now there's a reason to go. Next up, we have removed negative passive bonuses from some relics. That's good. I don't get why they have negative effects at all. Just make them buff the character. That's way more fun. Consumables with stat bonuses are now rewarded in more areas. That's also really good. Crowns can now be rewarded for defeating major enemies. I don't think I've gotten a crown yet, but that sounds really cool. I like that change. Relic and talisman buy and sell prices are now affected by level and rarity. Okay, so they're more expensive now to sell. I like that, because I tend to speedrun things, especially in Invasion, so I just sell most of that stuff to level up faster. And the rest of these are just bug fixes. There are some nice quality of life changes to practice mode, and then below this are the general characters, but I don't see any actual patch notes on the characters. Oh, here they are. Okay. There's actually a lot of stuff here, so I think I'll cover it in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. It helps the channel out a ton. And then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.